River surfing is like magic. Not like a street corner sleight of hand, is this your card sort of magic. If I'm surfing a river wave, I feel like I've borrowed the powers of a demigod to shape water and gravity for maybe the best possible purpose: joy. River surfing is the process of surfing a river wave, like you might see on a whitewater river, on a shortboard, like Kelly Slater might surf in the ocean. It can be a hard thing to picture if you haven't seen it before, so let me show you. Compared to surfing an ocean wave, things are sort of topsy-turvy. In the ocean, you have a pulse of energy that's moving through the water. And if I catch an ocean wave, I go from here to way over there in a big hurry, with this incredible sense of speed. In a river wave, things are sort of backwards. The source of energy is coming from the river flowing over a drop. And compared to the ground, the wave doesn't move very much. It's this endless wave that you can surf as long as you want to. But when I'm on a river wave, there's still that exhilarating sense of speed because the entire river is rushing under my feet. River surfing fosters an unusually strong connection between surfers and their rivers. A part of that connection is tactile. It's maybe our most intimate sense. And there are plenty of ways to experience a whitewater river. They're the lifeblood of the Mountain West. For example, I whitewater raft as well. But when I'm on a raft, if things are going well, I am on the water, not in it. And I'm sort of one step removed. I'm pulling against the current with my oars. I might get a splash of water over the bow here and there, but for the most part, I'm one step removed from everything. If I'm fly fishing, I might actually be in the river, but sort of like the fish, I'm nibbling around the edges of the current. I'm not in the heart of its power. Not so if I'm surfing. If I'm on a river wave, I am in the heart of the river's power. I can feel it come up through my board and through my feet. If I'm swimming through the eddies, I can feel the currents wrap around my toes. I can feel the temperature of the water with my hands. It's a very tactile, intimate connection. Another thing that strengthens that connection is that sort of flow state. If you're a mountain biker or a skier, you probably know what I'm talking about. That sense of participating in activity that demands so much of your body and your mind that there's not really space for anything else. If I'm on a river wave, I can't be thinking about what happened in the meeting on Wednesday or what I'm doing this weekend. I'm here in my body, in the present. Another connection comes from just the experiences that ingrain themselves on surfers. I've got a number of mornings where I woke up in the dark, got out to the wave before work, and saw the sunrise when I was on this wave that I could surf as long as I wanted to because there was nobody else out, and I had it all to myself. Another one of my favorite things to do is to surf with a couple of the most important women in my life, my daughters. We surf a little wave in Denver, and usually when we surf, I basically am bodyboarding with them, so keeping them between my arms on the wave, laying down on the board. Most of the time, when we get washed off the wave, I can keep them there, between me and the board, but not always. The first time my daughter, who was in preschool at the time, got washed free of me and the board, so she was swimming by herself. She got tumbled through the current and got out safe in the eddy, but I could tell she was a little wide-eyed. She was a little rattled. And I told her, listen, we don't have to surf all day, but we can't go home right now. We need to get back on the wave at least one more time, and then we can go home if you want. And I saw her look at me, look at the wave, look at the current, chew her bottom lip just like I do. And she said, well, can I jump in there? And she didn't point at the face of the wave that we'd been surfing. She pointed at that tumultuous tailwater where she had gotten rolled around. She said, can I jump in there? Well, yeah, of course. And again, she jumped into that same spot that had tumbled her around and scared her. Faced that fear head on. That experience is going to embed the South Platte in Denver in her mind for the rest of her life, facing that fear the way that she did. So, river surfing is fun. It connects surfers to their rivers. So what? Well, for one thing, it makes surfers care about their rivers. Take the South Platte in Denver, for example. It's an urban watershed. It's literally forgotten by most of the people in Denver. Literally overlooked because it's boxed in by cement walls in a lot of its course. It's a river that I biked past on my way to work for years. Didn't really give much thought to it. It's now home to 2 world-class river waves, and surfers have started to care. Even once I started surfing in Denver, I didn't pay too terribly much attention to water quality. That wasn't until I was surfing during a rainstorm. Now, much of Denver is impermeable. It's covered by sidewalks, streets, parking lots. When it rains on those impermeable surfaces, all of that water goes straight into the river. And I noticed when I was surfing one of those days, the water was coming up fast, the wave was getting better, but all of the little crawfish in the water started crawling up onto the rocks. And I realized if the water wasn't good enough for the mud bugs, probably wasn't good enough for me either. There's an eddy in one of the waves in Denver that just happens to be perfectly shaped to collect floating trash. Unfortunately, there's a fair amount of floating trash in the South Platte. And so when we would go surf that wave, we started bringing trash bags every time we would have a session on that wave. And surfers took hundreds of pounds of trash, not out of the river as a whole, but out of that one little eddy, including an entire rusting shopping cart. Now, clean water is important to me. But in that instance, it wasn't the general idea of clean water that motivated us to pull a shopping cart out of the water. It was that we didn't want to get tetanus. That direct connection, that sort of selfish altruism, is what's driven surfers and kayakers through organizations like the Colorado River Surfers Association and Protect Our Rivers. We've taken thousands of pounds of trash out of the South Platte. Surfers and kayakers have started to advocate for cleaner water, better flows. Not because clean water or the environment as these big concepts. Those concepts are important, but they didn't get us off the couch. What did was finding a thing that we loved and finding a place that we loved. That's what fosters these advocates. Jeremy Jones's nonprofit, Protect Our Winters, has the same sort of thesis. It's basically, if you love winter sports, you necessarily care about climate change. Again, not because of something vague, but because of something really specific and important. So, for me, it was river surfing. That's what got me off the couch. But maybe that's not what it is for you. But it's not just our wild rivers that need advocates, that need champions. It's our forests, our alpine meadows, our snowpack. Find the thing that connects you to the outdoors, not as a general concept, not as a big idea, but as a specific place that you love so that you can champion it, advocate for it. Be driven by maybe the best possible motivation. Joy. Thank you.